Welcome to issue number 27 of Digital Display Insider. I'm your host, Jerry Teeter, and today we're continuing on from a series we started last week in how to use ChatGPT to help you start up your mobile digital billboard business. Now, most people think that starting a business requires paying thousands of dollars to attorneys, to accountants, to consultants, different professional services to help you get your business up and going. And while many of those services are very important, and there is a time and place for those, in today's world with AI, there's so much more that you can do yourself now and save thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, weeks of time waiting on these services to get done. And it can just really help you launch your business so much faster and cheaper than when I started up mine. For about $20 a month, you can get a pro subscription to ChatGPT and really start building the foundation of your business. And I can't stress to you how much the value of that $20 a month is. I get that value of it multiple times a day, every single day. I use it every day in my business. And so if you haven't got an account with ChatGPT and started using it, I really encourage you to go do that now and start today. Just start messing with it, and it'll be just blow your mind the different things you can do with this. Now, I just want to stress again that ChatGPT is not here to replace the experts. It's here to help you think faster, organize better, launch your business better than you could just on your own, and then bringing those people in a very limited role. There is a lot of different aspects of these services that you can replace, and we'll get into some of those here in the newsletter. If you haven't had a chance to to read this week's newsletter, go back and read it. One simple example is like your website terms and conditions, or the privacy policy, or just some of these super basic, really legalese pages that you're required to have on your website, but you don't need to pay thousands of dollars to an attorney to write. What they're going to use is just a boilerplate template anyway. You can use ChatGPT, plug in your information, it gives you a full thing. It takes you about 10 to 15 minutes. It's super fast and super easy. And so that's just one of the many things in today's issue that you can get a prompt for and get started with. But today in this video, I wanted to set the stage here for what we're going to do. You know, last week we looked at setting up the branding and using GPT for the branding. And today's video, what we're going to do is look specifically at the startup phase of this. I hesitate to say the legalese because I'm not an attorney, and I just want to put that disclaimer out there. None of this is legal advice. You know, if you do need to consult your attorney, go on ahead and do that. But we're going to help you get through some of this, okay? Okay, so when you have your ChatGPT window open, you're going to be on this basic page, and we're going to paste in the prompt that I put in the newsletter, and I'll just go ahead and read it here to you. I'm starting a mobile digital billboard company, and I would insert your name in there. I'm planning to use LegalZoom to create my LLC because it's a cost-effective way to make sure it's done right without hiring an expensive attorney. I need you to create an exhaustive checklist of everything I need to do to form a legal and business setup standpoint once the LLC is created, and to get my business fully operational. Include steps like registering the business, obtaining an EIN, setting up a business bank account, securing necessary licenses, getting commercial auto insurance, setting up bookkeeping, and anything else a new MDB business owner would need to have in place to legally be ready to operate. Now, if you remember in last week's video, what I taught you to do is when you're communicating with GPT, communicate to it like you would as if someone were just sitting here next to you in the room and you're trying to explain to them what you want. So just use very conversational language. You don't need to use specific keywords like you do in Google, where you're trying to hit those exact keywords that Google's looking for. With AI, it's going to take your entire conversation, it's going to be able to put context to it, and then give you the best results. And so just talk to it like you would a normal human being, and that's where you're going to get the best results. So let's go ahead and hit enter here, and we'll see what it spits out for us. And as you can see, it's really fast, and it's going to give you a really exhaustive checklist here. I have not put this prompt in here before, and so I'm seeing this for the first time just like you are, and so we'll just kind of roll through that real quick. Now, in the newsletter, I do recommend that you use LegalZoom for setting up your LLC and the entity. This is something that I have found in the early years. I actually paid a law firm to do this, and what I learned is a lot of that stuff is just boilerplate templates that they're using. And so while it's not something that I'm recommending you do DIY on your own, LegalZoom is a great in between that you don't have to pay an attorney to do it, but they take care of everything. They make sure it's done right. Everything is filed properly, and it's very cost effective. Typically, depending on the package you're doing, it's a few $100s. If you get one of their top packages, it could get close to $1,000, but the general packages are just a few $100s. So I highly recommend using LegalZoom or a service equivalent to that to do the actual entity setup and the filings with your state. Now, assuming that you do that and you have all those other things, that's going to typically include your operating agreement or your bylaws, depending on what form of entity you're doing. It's going to be the necessary state filings and all that. Now, once you have all that, you're going to need to file a tax identification number, an EIN or employer identification number. You can do that with the IRS. It's free, and you can just go to the IRS's website, fill it out. You're going to get that number immediately, and then that's what you're going to use to open your bank accounts. That's essentially the social security number for the business. In addition to the IRS, you're going to need to register your business both with the state, get a state tax ID number, and then if there's any local IDs that you're going to need, you're going to have to do that. Generally in our business, you don't need any local business licenses. There are a few markets out there that do require a local permit. That's something you just need to research your local laws and see what is required for your type of business. DOT. Now, this is something that I've talked a lot about in my previous videos. If your vehicle, if the actual weight or the GVW or the gross vehicular weight rating, if either of those is 10,001 pounds or higher, then you are legally obligated to file for a DOT number, and then you're going to have to be under a lot of DOT restrictions, such as driver qualification files, annual inspections on the truck, hours of service rules for your drivers, just a whole host of things that you're going to have to do. And so you're going to want to make sure that if you have an LED truck that's over 10,001 pounds, which a large number of them out there are, then you're going to have to adhere to that. That's one thing at Legion LED Trucks. We've worked very hard to get our trucks under 10,000 pounds. And as far as I know, we're the only LED truck on the market with the size of screens we have, the 6x13 side screens on a dually chassis, that does not exceed that 10,000 pound weight threshold. And so if that is something that you don't want to deal with the DOT, which personally I don't, I've done it for years. I own a trucking company, and it's like being in bed with the IRS to some degree. So if you have questions about that, always feel free to reach out and I will answer those questions. With your EIN number, you're going to need to go open your bank accounts. Under no circumstances mix your personal banking accounts with your business. So many entrepreneurs do this in the beginning. It's such a bad habit to get into out of the start. And so from day one, don't make a single deposit from your business into your personal account. Set up a business account, keep separate books. For bookkeeping, we use QuickBooks. It's one of the most common ones. And it's a simple tool. They've got the online version now that's super easy to use. So keep your personal and your business finances completely separate. Never mix the two. There's a couple of other, FreshBooks is another bookkeeping software out there that you can do. If you don't have someone helping you with your accounting, this is an area where I would hire a bookkeeper to set up your initial set of books. Again, this is something that if you do it from the beginning, it's going to make your life going forward so much easier. If you skip this point and just start doing it and then try to come back and fix it later, it's going to be really expensive and it's going to be a huge pain for whoever has to fix it. So this is an area where it's well worth the money to pay an accountant or a CPA or someone who has bookkeeping experience the money to set up your books from the beginning and then teach you how to do it on a day-to-day basis. And then a lot of times you can pay these people to just look at your books once a month, once a quarter, just to make sure everything is done right. They can do your quarterly filings with the state for your payroll taxes and any tax liabilities that you have. Don't get on the wrong side of that from the beginning. Make sure to talk to an accountant on that. Insurance. You're going to need to get commercial insurance for your trucks, and there's a number of insurance companies out there that provide insurance. Progressive is probably one of the easiest ones to get started with out of the gate, but if you already have your personal insurance policy, I would talk to your agent just to see if they have business policies for these types of trucks. A lot of insurance companies are starting to insure these a lot more now, and so going ahead and talk to your local agent about that. If they can't do it, again, just do some research, but Progressive is one of the more common ones out there. And here's the different types of coverages you're going to need. In addition to your vehicle liability, I highly recommend getting a general liability insurance policy and then an umbrella policy that will just kind of cover everything else. As a single owner operator, you're not going to need work comp insurance until you start hiring employees, and your agent should be able to help you through that. Permits that comply with advertising regulations. Again, in our world, there's really no permits you need with the exception of just a small handful of markets out there that require any permitting for the actual advertising itself. And so unless you're in a city like Vegas or, I've only heard of maybe 3 or 4 out there that require anything. So double check with it just to make sure, but you shouldn't have to deal with that. And then just purchasing your final, the other equipment you're going to need as far as stuff to go with the truck. Let's see here, operational infrastructure. So these are different things we've talked about in previous videos as far as your contracts with vendors, setting up your service agreements, setting up your sales system. So like your CRM, I recommend HubSpot. That's one that we've used for a while now, and it works really well. Setting up your business email accounts. Specifically on that, don't make the mistake of just getting a free Gmail account with your business name at gmail.com or at yahoo.com. It looks so basic, and it doesn't look professional. When you buy your domain, it's very inexpensive to add on email service. Google, you can host your email through Google using your domain. We're talking $10 or $15 a month. If you can't pay for that, you shouldn't be in business. Like that's such a super basic thing that's going to make you look more professional and legit. And with all the scams out there, they're using the free email services. And so get a email address with your domain name, with your business name in it, and get that set up. And then last week we talked about the branding kit, which would include your media. And those are all things that you can use ChatGPT here for. Marketing foundation, we're going to get into that a little more here in the coming episodes, so I'm not going to hit those too hard right now. Hiring, depending on what your skill sets are in the startup, I typically recommend the owner-operator take the role as the salesperson and then hire a driver to drive the truck in the beginning. I don't recommend trying to do both driving and selling and wearing 100% of all the hats. There's going to be plenty of hats for you to wear in the startup process. And so one of the lowest cost things that you can do that will take something off your plate is the driving portion of this. And so you can start part-time. You can start with any number of things you can do, but I definitely recommend getting a driver. And it's got 1099 drivers here. I'm going to tell you right here, don't do 1099 on anything here unless they're truly remote workers working on their own time. There's so many ways that states have started cracking down on that, and you don't want to get into an issue with the state for it doesn't matter what you call it, it's what they really are. And so it's for this type of business, there's very few case scenarios where someone is truly a 1099 employee. And so just bring on his employees, set it up right from the beginning, pay the payroll taxes. It's not that much difference, and it's certainly going to be a lot cheaper than getting into trouble with the tax department later on down the road. So that kind of runs us to the end of that. You can see here, just with that one simple prompt, that gave you so much information here that you can do. You can manipulate that prompt. You can take it and start. One thing I mentioned too is don't just take the very first thing it gives you and then run with that. A lot of times, again, just act like this is a person that you're communicating with. And so, if I saw something here that I didn't really think needed to be there, such as, securing permits, I could say, type down here, permits don't really apply to us, so remove that, but here's a few other things that I want to include in my checklist, and just have that back and forth conversation with the GPT, and it will just continue to refine the output that it's giving you into something that's really great. So I hope this is helpful. Next week, we are going to get into more of the front end side of the business and some prompts that'll help you with your sales and marketing and just different things that are going to be more forward facing to your customers. And so, again, I hope this is helpful for you. Go on ahead and get your account in GPT and start playing with it. Start playing with some different prompts. There's tons of YouTube videos out there on ChatGPT prompt writing that you can learn from. Again, if you have not, if you're still in your research phase and you haven't got all the information you're looking for, I just re-released my book on how to start a mobile billboard business without losing $100,000. You can get that at ledtrucks.com/free book. It's a free book. You just pay shipping and handling, and we'll get that out to you. So until next week, thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.